Welcome to another episode of My Plug Life, and today we're going to talk about the most important topic when it comes to electric vehicles, and that is charging your car, how much it's going to cost, and how long it's going to take. And we have to take all this into consideration as an electric car owner. So there's three different levels that you have for an electric charging. That's level 1, which would be a wall socket, which is where you plug in your cell phone or your hair dryer. That gets you about 5 to 8 kilometers an hour, and most houses have this installed on the outside, so you have that option. If you charge overnight, you probably get about 100 kilometers, but that's a long time. So most people with electric cars like to install a level 2 charger, and this would be like a stove or a dryer socket. It's about 30 amps, 40 amps, and it gets you about 30, 40 kilometers an hour, much faster. So let's look at the cost of that. So assuming that you're charging for 3.5 hours, you get about 100 kilometers on that 30 amp. It costs you about 15 cents per kilowatt hour here in Vancouver on step 2. So look at your rate, it might be a little bit different. So for that 100 kilometers, it's going to cost you about $2.60. Let's just bump that up to 160 kilometers, which would take you about 6 hours, and it costs you $4.50. So not everybody has that option though, at charging at home, and maybe they need to charge on the road, or maybe they live in an apartment building, they need to charge there on a daily basis. They do have level 2 chargers at malls or libraries and stuff like that, and some of them charge basically about $1 an hour. So at 6 hours, it costs you about $1 an hour, $6, no problem. But there's a level 3 charger, which would be much faster. Now this thing can charge between 150 and say 400 kilometers an hour, really depends on which one you got. And so in an hour, you can get that entire charge, but the public ones that I've seen charge about $15 an hour. So that's about 3 times the cost of charging at home. But you're paying for your convenience here. So instead of taking 6 hours to charge your car, it's only taking you 1 hour. What this is really important for is how much time it costs you to do it. So typically in Vancouver, we're getting about $15 an hour. So an hour worth of charging, $15 seems fairly reasonable. But say you were at a mall or something like that, and you could spend that longer amount of time, you could save a little bit of money. So if you're on a road trip, it makes a big difference though. If you're, say, decide to go on a road trip to, say, Clinton, BC. Clinton, BC doesn't even have a bowling alley. It's the middle of nowhere. You have the option. You drive into town and you see a DC fast charger there run by BC Hydro, and they're charging, say, $15 an hour, and you think to yourself, oh, I can get a full charge or whatever, 160 kilometers in an hour. Or you've got a level 2, which is sitting right next to it, which says it's going to get you about 30, 40 kilometers an hour for $1 an hour. Now, you, as a driver, would make a choice. Do I want to hang out in Clinton for an hour and get back on the road, maybe have something to eat while I'm waiting? Or do I want to spend 6 hours here in a town I can't really do anything in? Now, maybe you're just passing through and yeah, you want that faster charger and you're willing to spend that extra money, which as far as I'm concerned is pretty reasonable. $15 is not that much. But maybe I'm the kind of person that's just stopped in Clinton and I'm going to spend the night. Maybe I know somebody who lives there or whatever, and I want to get enough of a charge in a longer period of time. So I can then take the level 2. What would be really good though is if we had a sign that said right next to each other, we have a level 3, it's going to take you an hour to get your 160 kilometers, it's going to charge you $15, and then level 2 would be 6 hours to get the 160 kilometers at $1 an hour, $6. That would really help people make the better decision. And if you're rolling into town and you don't need that quick charger and you take a slower one, that allows somebody who is just passing through town the opportunity to take that DC fast charger and get back out on the road. It's very respectful for that. Now, where this really comes to head, though, is where I live in Surrey. Now, where I live, there's some DC fast chargers run by BC Hydro that don't have a cost associated with them. And if you don't have a cost associated with something, do you know what happens? You get this. You get a lineup of people trying to use a free service that really isn't taking into consideration everybody's needs. For example, I went out to a DC fast charger, and there was a lineup of about 3-4 people. The person I saw that just plugged in was at 70% charge. He probably could have gotten home, he could have probably charged at home, but he's choosing to use that charger because it's free. He doesn't want to spend the $2.60 to get the 100 kilometers he needs. He's just going to get it for free. So he walks into Shoppers Drug Mart, gets something and whatever, he gets fully charged, he's still in there, he eventually wanders out, and that line of people are busily waiting for him so that way they can get their own charge. Maybe a couple cars down, there's somebody there that actually needs the charge to continue. They need to get home. They have no other option. There's no level 2 there. What are they going to do? They've got to wait through all these people just to make it home. Now, if we did have the option where every time we saw a level 3 next to a level 2 and you could take either of them and you had a cost associated with each, That guy who went into Shoppers Drug Mart and he didn't need that much and he spent an hour or two there, he could have then taken the level 2 and saved a ton of money and still got the same benefit for him, as well as that guy who's just trying to get home had the option of just getting on the fast charger and getting back out. So thank you very much for checking this. This is really important that we need to think about this as we grow into more electrification. There's a lot more cars out. When I first came and I went to these chargers out in the mall, there was nobody there. Now they're constantly full. So we need to be more respectful for this. Hopefully more companies come out with more options and put a little bit of a price on it, and then it will probably even itself out. So I hope see you guys in the next video on My Plug Life, and see you then.